we have some excitement. Now you're going to be able to mark things as missing in Infinite Campus so that it will trigger missing reports and things like that. But we need to have a few things set up and before we start. So one thing that you always want to do when you first come in every morning is you want to click on your grade sync. And when you click on your grade sync, you are going to want to take a look and make sure that you have something that was completed with a green check mark. If it wasn't completed with a green check mark, then you want to look at what the error message is. Sometimes there's a timeout error, and honestly, before you do much more, I would remaster your grade book if you don't have a green check mark, just to see if it'll run through the day and give you a green check mark before you take it further. So you always want to make sure that you have a date here. Like this one synced last night at 11:42, green check mark, so it went well. If we click on settings, you want to make sure the nightly sync is on. Now, most of the time this nightly sync works, sometimes it doesn't, which is the reason why you want to check. If you didn't have a nightly sync run or it didn't run clean, then you want to click on remaster. You'll want to click on Remaster Gradebook, and that will force your grades to all go right now. So that's the first setup piece. The other thing that you want to make sure that when you click on grades, first of all, grades should be visible to students. They should have an eyeball allowing them to see their grades because they're not going to see the grade totals. That should be defaulted to where they can't see the totals, but they need to be able to see their individual grades. And if you don't show them that, then they can't see and click on those individual grades. So it's real important to make sure in your navigation, I can show you that at the end here in your navigation, that it is above the line to where that's under settings to where they can see it in student view. So when you click on grades, we want to make sure that it is not automatically putting in a 0 for missing things. We no longer are going to put zeros in Canvas. And so to do that, you want to make sure you want to click on this little gear off to the right hand side. I clicked on grades, click on the gear. You want to make sure that this box is not checked, either one of these boxes. You know, we're not really taking late off we're not taking points off for being late, but this automatically apply grade for missing submissions, we don't want to put a 0 in because they're not seeing the average in Canvas, and we don't want that to pass over to Infinite Campus. So now, once you have that all set up and your first set of grades comes in, you categorize it like you normally do, and this is where you're going to type M for missing. So as soon as your grades come into your grade book, now I see that I have a blank in this column, so all I would do is type an M and hit save. After that, I don't touch Infinite Campus. When you go into Canvas and you grade it, it will override the M. The M to Infinite Campus averages as a 0 and will trigger when emails are sent out for missing assignments, and it will also trigger in missing reports that the admin may run. So the only difference that we're doing here is, one, you have to make sure in your grade book that you do not have automatically give a 0. You also want to make sure that you don't give zeros for missing things, because that will pass over and overwrite that flag. And then in Infinite Campus, you want to make sure you put an M and hit save in that column. You do not enter the new score in that column. Canvas will pass it back over the M and erase the M. So it's kind of best of both worlds. You still do have to put an M, but the only place you put it is in Infinite Campus. Do not check the flag. Just type the M. We've done this in a few cases in the last few weeks, and it's been running clean as long as you don't do anything else in that column of grades. So you're gonna grade it and pass it over, categorize it as soon as it comes in. Then any missing things that you have in your grade book, you type an M. Now, you can't go back. If you've already given it a 0, you can't go back and type an M. That will cause an error. So you want to do this the first time it comes over, type your M's, hit save, and then when it is graded in Canvas, it will overwrite that. So that's really the only thing that you have to do. We're just not putting anything, we're leaving it blank in Canvas. So we would leave the column, or we would leave the score blank, which is great because now it will stay in the student's to-do list. When we give it a 0, it takes it out of the to-do list. So it's kind of best of both worlds. Now, if you are, if you wanted to know how to put these grades into that column, then basically all you would need to do is you need to go down to your settings. And once you're in settings, then you'll go to navigation, and you just want to make sure that grades is above that line so that they can see their individual things. So you would just drag it up, put it wherever you want it, and then you would hit save.